Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so now it's time to move on to our next set of panel discussions. And the topic for this one would be, how can exposure to new age technologies help in fostering experiential learning pedagogy? And the moderator for this session would be Mr. Krishnan, B, CEO Operations from Kalorex Group, Ahmedabad. And along with him, I would like to also call up Dr. Shahnaz Ahmed, the chairman and founder, principal, Springdale Senior Secondary School, Jorhat, Assam, on the stage. एक बार जोरदार तालियों के साथ please welcome him on the stage, Dr. Shahnaz Ahmed, ladies and gentlemen. Along with her, I would also like to welcome Mr. Amitava Datta, the founder of Marius Day School, Howrah, West Bengal, on the stage. Ma'am, you can come on from that side. All right. Mr. Amitava Datta, sir? Yes. Next, I would like to welcome Mr. Arup Mukhopadhyay, the director of UNSCCO Group of School, Imphal, Manipur, on the stage, with a huge round of applause, everybody. Next, I would like to welcome Mr. Amith Bajla, the founder and chairman of Taurian World School, Ranchi, Jharkhand. एक बार जोरदार तालियों के साथ उनका भी स्वागत किया जाए स्टेज पे. Along with him, also I'd like to welcome Dr. Vikash Kumar Singh, the founder director, Genius Kids India, Kolkata, West Bengal, on the stage. Dr. Vikash Kumar Singh, sir, you are requested to please come and join us on the dais. All right, and last but not the least, also Dr. Harshita Sharma, the founder and director, Brainstorm International, Pune, Maharashtra. Ma'am, you are requested to please come on the stage. All right, and next, I would like to welcome Mr. Akash Gautam, the academic head, Q&I and Thomson Digital, with a huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Over to you, Anantha, sir.
Guru Bhyo Namaha. My greetings to my Guru and thanks to them for making us be here. Thank you very much. Respected dignitaries on stage, respected dignitaries in front of me here. Great pleasure being in Kolkata, my Janma Bhumi. I was born here. And with thanks to the land that I was born, I would like to start this session. A beautiful topic for today. How can exposure to new age technologies help in fostering experiential learning pedagogies? A very, very nice and a very sensitive topic, I should say. A topic which is welcomed, spoken across platforms, but when it comes to implementation, people find it difficult implementing it across their schools. More than implementing, it is the, I should say, fear of technology for many, which is the reason of new age technologies not reaching out to that level at it should into the school fraternity and into the classroom transactions. But yeah, everybody speaks about it. So let's also look into some finer aspects of this technology and understand whether such technologies is really needed in the classroom. If needed, to what level is it needed? And what do we as educators have a role in bringing these technologies into the classroom? I'll give you a very basic background of this kind of technology and how it kind of come in. So the famous Soviet founder, Vladimir Lenin, in one of his quotes said that for decades, nothing happened, right? Nothing happens for over a decade, right? But then in weeks, decades happen. So that's what probably COVID gave us, a chance to speeden up stuff and look at technology and to embrace technology in a much faster and a much more, I should say, cohesive manner. The influx of technology came into the Indian schooling system somewhere in the mid-90s, wherein computers were first brought into the school, right? Or 386 or 486 PCs kind of came in. You remember DOS, and you also remember COBOL, which is the language which is taught to the students there. And then came the Windows 95, which was a major transformation in or I should say, the first step towards official computing in the schools, or the computers entering into the schools in an official manner, right? So then came the MS Excel, and then came a program called as Intel Teach to the Future program, and a program called Wipro Applying Thought in Schools. These two programs made a first impact of, I should say, the first level revolution in bringing IT into schools. Thereafter, the people working on smart boards, they picked up, and then the edtechs came in, and that's how today we are at whatever levels of implementation of technology that we are at, right? But with the current level of implementations across schools, what are we doing today? Is it enough for us to cope up our kids for the future? Would we really know what are the skills required in the next 10 years, 15 years, 20 years here on? And are we really doing enough to make our kids to learn to that level? That's my basic thought with which I start this session today. My first question to the panelists here, I would like to take this question first to Mr. Amitava Datta, the founder of Maris Day School, Howrah, West Bengal. How has the technological advancements in terms of AI, ML, and IoT impacted the school education sector? And what is your thought on it? How has the technological advancement...
If the sound is adjusted, it's humming.
Are you guys able to hear me properly, or is the sound needs to be adjusted? Okay. So I'll put the mic off and then repeat the question here. How has the technological advancements in AI, ML, and IoT impacted the education sector?
AI, ML,
What are you meaning by AIML?
Artificial intelligence, machine learning, and Internet of Things. How have they impacted the education sector? What is the need of these technologies in schools today?
Hello. Good afternoon, everybody. Terminologies are coming, which is basically beyond our understanding as far as technology is concerned. Incidentally, I happened to be the first batch learning computers in engineering college in my days, where we started with Fortran 4, Fortran 77, and then others. We worked with COBOL device at the first stage, and then Windows. Now many other things are coming with different kind of terminologies. Last time I heard, there is something called, it is coming for last few months or years, coding. Actually, coding is the flow chart we used to do when we were in the engineering college. So in other way, the wine in bottle changing, there is no other way. I sincerely think if it is in school education, school is basically a different place for a human being, where a child under the umbrella of parents entering into society for the first time. And I have personally always understood that technology is no panacea. We are talking about technology, artificial technology. Now, artificial technology has been such that if man is not becoming machine, but machine is becoming man-like. So we want to teach students from very beginning, maybe at the cost of blah, blah, blah. I'm not discussing over here. But me being a person who has seen the changes of human understanding, science, engineering, and then technology. Science, we would understand the Newtonian science like physics, chemistry, mathematics, not even biology. Biology is applied science. You know the theories, you know the basic elements, science, and then engineering. I was a student of engineering. how you can apply engineering, science in life, in solving things. So you know the basic, then you do. The mechanical engineers, automobile engineers would like to go for designing of the wheels, steering. My father, when purchased the car, he used to ask for a driver come mechanic. Now, nobody. No mechanic is required. Even we are moving towards that era without knowing driving. I can sit on the driver's seat, like autopiloting, and then I can move some places in the world it is happening. And technology comes when we are the students, we passed several nights with drafters, drawing. Then we started in the final year AutoCAD. Without knowing how to draw, we can draw through computers. Now, this is the place when we started with the students. What kind of thing we can introduce? There is no national instruction on that. And when some, first time I forgotten the name of the person who introduced a book for students, school students, for computer, it was pretty nice. But very little to do with computers itself, creating the logic. Now at the stage, the private schools are prosperous. India has got two divisions. In one kind of schools, students are going to get food. Whole the academics and the energy is thrown to bring the children to the school, and the teachers are keeping the accounts of rice, dal, roti. It is two systems. And private schools are comfortable. They are doing many things. When the particular topic comes, I would say excess putting of artificial intelligence in schools, not in colleges, is counterproductive. Me is an old runner with the technology. I worked with technology. It is my own feeling and my suggestion. Once I was in NCVT, the government's panel of advisors, National Advisor Board of NCVT, what is now called skill development. Basically now the whole school education is being focused on merely skill development. Whenever the objective type questions have come, we have forgotten to in-depth understanding, learning, and even writing. If writing makes a man perfect, I do not know whether typing makes a man perfect. I do not know. Swami Vivekananda once said, anything excess is poison, anything excess. In Calcutta, you eat a lot of fish and rice, madam. It is excess. If it goes in your stomach, it will put you in problem. Like this excess computer feeding in the school level is a very, very big problem. I have got some very small steps of suggestion. Me being accidentally technically, I was the first batch in ISWBM with a management study. There was MBM at that time, but it was MBA. They started with computer management. So binary system, we did not learn in engineering college. We started learning this thing. So logically, the things are, if not, becoming, the logic of the person is becoming more or less regimented. It is not very good for the human civilization.
So Dr. Datta, you're saying that though technology is important, but then channelizing it into what is required and giving a optimum level beyond which it can become a problem. That's what you're saying, if I'm getting it right.
Definitely. You have used the right word, optimum.
Optimum, yeah.
Not less, not high.
Perfect. So I'll come back to you, Dr. Datta, on this. If we can kindly move on at this point in time for the next panelist here. So we have Ms. Shahnaz Ahmed. She is the chairman and founding principal of the Springdale Senior Secondary School, Jorhat, Assam. So, ma'am, today the requirement for a school is to develop a child holistically, right? Any parent doesn't really look at academics as, as a single one-point standout option, but he wants a all-round development in the child. So it's about holistic development. So can you please tell us how would these new age technologies help us develop a kid in a holistic fashion?
Good afternoon, everybody. I have come from the northeast, from Assam. Assam is a very beautiful place where there are a lot of greenery, nature, beauty, very, very unpolluted. So we grew up in a place, our childhood, our education all started in a very natural way. We went out to play, and there was a field to play. We went to a school where there was a lot of learning going on with the teachers and with the sisters who taught us, the Salesian sisters. We had very good parenting. So, holistic. But today's holistic has become very different. You know, Mahatma Gandhi has said that education means the development of the body, mind, and soul. For me, that was holistic. If your body, you are fit. If your mind, it is clear, and your soul is purified, what more do we require? But today, the world is not looking at that. The tomorrow's world is talking about a very, very holistic development, a new normal. As one of the speakers, I was very impressed when he said, what is this new normal? This is always there. These COVID and all were there before. But suddenly a new thing has come, that new normal, we require to have a lot of digitalization in the schools. The children have to be taught in a different way. So if we go to holistic development now, it means that the child has to learn, has to read, write, play, become a doctor or engineer, has to have a very good job. Everything together, the child has to dance, sing, swim, what not is there. The natural process might go away also. And we as naturalists, we believe that learning begins at home only. Learning begins within the classrooms with a teacher who is very proper to teach in a proper way. It is true that digitalization is important, because when COVID had come, all the chalk and talk method, the teachers all took a back seat. The online classes have started. And when the online classes started, I do not know how it benefited, what it benefited, but classes were going on with a small computer or a laptop or a mobile, and education was given, imparted to them. Students were taught, and the educator or the teacher was teaching. But whether the process of teaching was going on in the first place or not is very, very doubtful. So when you talk about this holistic development, I would still suggest that digitalization is important, the balance should be there, but the teacher cannot be given a backseat. The teacher is the most important part in it. The pedagogies have to be integrated along with digitalization. Right now, as I was coming inside, I met all the digital, stalls that are there, and one of them has said that today's students are very interested in having JEE NEET, but they're not being able to, clear the examinations, the time management, whether the assessments will be very true. But what about the brain? The brain that created this digitalization, can we put a stop to it? Can research be stopped? Can a teacher not go to the library, read, groom up the students in a proper way, and give that digitalization? It is there, should be given a second. I still believe it should be given the second seat, and the teacher or the educator should have the first seat in teaching the child, because the brain never stops functioning. The brain has to be carried on. Students must be made to read. They cannot just sit with a computer and, click that Google Baba and get all the answers. That is copy and paste. We have seen it. We are seeing it in all the classrooms. You give them a project, the child would really go and just check with the net and find out the answers, and that's the answer. But how much of learning has started? How much of understanding has started? So I think, yes, it is there. Smart children have become smarter. They become very smart kids. And, it's become customized also. They will only choose.
So you're prompting me to ask my next two questions, which I would like to put to the other panelists also while we talk. But I definitely would like to ask you certain questions on pedagogies, in the next round maybe. And I also would like to ask you about this, use of brain and use of creativity by kids, as you were right now just saying.
Yeah.
So in the world of Chat GPT,
Yes.
right, how
Yeah.
will it, disrupt the entire learning process? So that's the next question I will anyway bring to you.
Right.
So in the meantime, if I can go to
Yes, true.
Mr.
Yeah.
Amith. Mr. Amith Bajla is the founder and chairman of the Taurian World School, Ranchi. Believe me, ladies and gentlemen, this is a beautiful school. You need to visit this school sometime. I had an opportunity to go to this school about 3-4 years back. He has done a good school there. And Ranchi, while that we sit in Ahmedabad and the Delhis and the Bangalores of the world, we talk about good schools, but there are certain areas in this country which really needs good schools. So Ranchi and Jharkhand is one of them. So I really would like to give you this credit of bring a good school here. So taking what we just discussed with Ms. Shahnaz here, that technology is available, right? Technology has come into the classroom, right? Wholesome learning is important, right? But then how will the pedagogies improve with these new age technologies coming into place? How is the teacher supposed to be coping with the adaptation of these kind of technologies in the new era? So this question goes to you, Mr. Ahmed.
Thank you, Anandji, for the compliment on the school. Just a few lines on that and what ma'am said, that learning starts at home and how we have to blend technology with holistic learning and the classical ways of teaching and learning. So when I built this school, I'm not from Ranchi, I live in Bombay, and I wanted to build a school in a city which didn't attract investments or huge investments in the education sector. And my dream was to build many more schools, but I started with Ranchi, bought a piece of land, and built the best school that I could at that time, without any experience in education and without any experience in building large infrastructure. And when you just said that, how can technology help improving pedagogy? How can it help making learning in a classroom better? I think we are at a very interesting stage of learning and teaching across the world. It's almost like an industrial revolution, because I feel technology has come at a stage where I think it'll explode the way we think, the way we operate, the way we learn, the way we grow, the way we live. Let's talk about artificial intelligence. Just imagine if a child is able to get a customized learning platform at his own pace. Imagine if there is an automated tutor who's helping him learn and correct his understanding. Imagine if you're teaching about history, and if a child is able to get into virtual reality and get into that era and actually feel the place. Imagine, if there's learning integrated in gamification, right? So kids will have very different experience of learning in the next decades. And I don't think the question is whether we should or should not adopt technology. There is no escaping that. So I think getting technology for a school is easy. There are lots of vendors, players who are doing fantastic job. I think a bigger challenge is how do we get our teachers to integrate. All of us are aware that the teaching community in India are not at pace with the way technology has moved. And technology is moving at a neck-breaking speed. And teachers are not, unfortunately, evolving at the same pace. So the solution, I think, is for school owners and school management to sensitize the teaching community that they need to come out and embrace technology, and you need to have proper setup, IT infra setup, not just in terms of physical infrastructure, but the ethos where you have to adopt technology in a school in a very, in a very intrinsic way. It cannot be just ICTs, or it cannot be smart boards. And I mean, those are done and dusted. That's not technology anymore. Technology is about how we want to think about the future, and how do we really want to integrate technology in the nerve system of the school, right? So I think a lot of communication must happen between the teachers and also with the parents. And as as ma'am also said, I mean, I also believe in having a balance of nature. Like my school has about 50, 60 acres of land. One of the very few schools who, which passionately runs a horse riding school. We have 15, 16 horses, and I have immense pleasure in watching kids learn such an interesting sport. And a lot of parents ask me, how does it help a kid? And I said, like, look, imagine the confidence of a child. He weighs 35, 40, 45, kgs, and he's controlling an animal which is 350, 400 kgs. So imagine the confidence that the child would get. And these are lifelong learnings. Imagine if you are taming a wild animal, So I think if we blend all this, hopefully, we don't know how the future is, but hopefully, it'll be an interesting blend. And also, that the last point, I really feel sorry for the kids, is because they have to learn so much so soon. Every child is today just overburdened with information and challenges, and they just have to learn so much, and I feel sorry for them. Thank you.
Very, very well spoken, Mr. Ahmed. And yes, please go ahead.
I think just putting the all onus on teachers is a big injustice. Basically, just another word. We are running few schools under CISC. There are two boards mainly, apart from NIUS. CISC, we got affiliation first in 32 years back. They were talking about exclusive education. Now common education. If not, they would not survive. Now CBSE, CISC, two boards. Suppose one computer book is there, any book. Then it is being taught in Delhi, in Garyahat, a school of Garyahat in Calcutta, in Katwa, extreme. So the understanding level of teachers and the students is different. It is not the responsibility of teachers only. In private schools, we have found educated, unemployed people are joining mainly.
In fact, my next question is on the same thing.
School owners, thinkers need to make the syllabus compatible for both the teachers and the students.
Correct. Very well said. While we continue this discussion, one thing takeaway from what Mr. Amit rightfully said is the key to success in the IT world is implementation. So if you're able to really put your, horses together, since you used the example of horses, so if you're able to put your horses together and make them run in a synchronized manner, to the benefit of your school, your teachers, your parents, your stakeholders, then you see a success. Otherwise, there are many chances of you slipping somewhere in the, in the wild that you gallop and probably falling down. So yes, we would burn our hands sometimes while we implement technology. वो कहते हैं ना हिंदी में दूध का जला छाछ को भी फूक के पीता है. तो आप पीजिए छाछ, but फूक के पीजिए, भले ही पीजिए. But you can't simply say I'll not have the taste of chach just because I've been burned by milk, right? So you have to have technology, but then how are you going to implement it? That's a call that you guys need to take together, right? Along with your stakeholders. While I say that, the next question is to Mr. Arup Mukhopadhyay. Arup Saab is the director of the Unacco group of schools, Imphal, Manipur. And also Arup Saab is from the industry. He is a consultant a senior consultant in the education sector. So Arup Saab, this question is about the role of a teacher in the integration of technology in the classroom. But before I go into their role exactly, the current day students are called Generation Alpha. The guys who have been born after the millennial, that is after the 2000 year. And we guys, we come from the generation X and the Y. Some are X and some are Y. So while that, I am myself a IT guy, I'm a Java, I should say, programmer by my qualification, but then I run schools by my profession. I myself find it difficult when I'm kind of chatting with my daughter or when I'm trying to kind of integrate technology in my own institution. The chat GPTs of the world are changing a lot of stuff, right? So the kids sometimes are smarter than the teacher. They tend to teach the teacher of what she really needs to use upon in terms of technology. But then, is that the right thing, one? How do we cope up with this differentiation problem of the knows and the know-nots? How do you think should our teachers cope up? What as a role as a management do we have in upskilling, reskilling our teachers to the level that they're able to integrate the right technology in the classroom and give the right kind of advice to the kid? So what's your say on that, sir?
Hello. 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 Oh, well, so thanks, Anant, and all my speakers, panelists, those who have already spoken. I personally first feel that we need to have a better understanding from where the integration will work. Because technology is nothing but a tools. It can never replace a real teacher. We have seen in our school days, as Anantha was saying, that what is the role of the teacher? Teacher used to come to with some of the rolled display chart. Okay. And I was born in the city, so area like College Street, you will see lot of charts and all these things are sold. Today you go, you will not find it. Because it's not required anymore. But even I said it's not required anymore, I'm wrong. There are some schools those who survive only on those charts. So technology is a teaching tool, is a teacher's tool. It can only help the teachers. Why we try to invent the technology? Why we want the technology to come to our school? A few days back, I think we had a Saraswati Puja. We connect all of us. And as per because the convention is in Calcutta, so I am trying to connect with the Bengali sentiment. Where a child when start to have holding the education or starting the education, so that was the day we used to give a pen or pencil. And you write, which governor of West Bengal has done. Today, do you give that pen or pencil to your teachers or you give a stylus? Because students operate from technology. In some parts or 90% of their daily life, they are operating from technology. My father gave me the first gift was a Tagore's book. Today I give my daughter the first gift is a tablet or an iPhone. There is no denial because the time will change. And I think where the child more at ease, we need to navigate from that area. During our days, it was a library from where we started navigating. We used to go to a library, public library, to go and read the books. Where is the public library gone? Because you don't need. In a larger scale, I'll not say no, you don't need. You don't need in a larger scale. Because all the books are put together. You have a cloud computing, which is a scalable, which has a much easier access. And the child, instead of going to a physical library, will find it much easier to live through on a tablet. So, there. Now, why the teachers will depend a lot on technology? It makes the job of a teacher easy. Because today I'm a speaker, I have 3 roles. I have to engage you. I have to engage my audience. I have to interact with my audience. I have to excite my audience. As a teacher, when there are 50, 60 students, teacher failed to excite. Teacher failed to engage. The teacher failed to interact. Because it has been a monologue. It has been an instruction. Till we use the word instructional leadership, which should be obliterated. Instruction does not work. It's an interaction. So when you talk about the pedagogy, is what Amith was speaking, because children need interaction, which is called experiential learning. You act and learn. We never acted. We are a passive learner. We went to a stadium and we saw the Messi played. We have never realized how the Messi plays. So, in that role, what you call it virtual reality, augmented reality, they create a 360-degree resources. You feel like you are sitting on a stadium and watching the match. Every shot of Messi will be observed, monitored. What was the angle of the feet of Messi? From which he hit the ball? What is the parabolic discussion the ball is taking? How the ball goes to the net? In front of you table, you have an iPad, which is giving you the each and everybody is the Messi doing right. Messi's coach is following very, very carefully. So which is better? So it has made the life much easier to a one-day or T20 umpire who does not bother whether there's a catch taken correctly or not, because there is an AI who will do that. He concentrates on what is the bowling. So in that way, this kind of technology, intervention of technology, help the pedagogy to improve, where the teacher's job has been very easier, and the child excite, and the child get a learning space to learn.
Very, very well explained. The Messi shot particularly was a very nice extrapolation of the whole subject. What kind of shot, what angle, what is the physics to it, right? And what kind of chemistry that he has with the co-players. To that level, the coach can monitor and probably better his shot for the next game. Yes. So very, very well explained, Mr. Arup. Taking the discussion to the last fag end of the session, Mr. Akash Gautam, the academic head of and the Q&I head of the Thomson Digital. So I'll be very ruthless with you if you permit me to do that with you, because you are a EdTech guy, we are academicians and educationalists, though I'm also a EdTech guy by my kind of, being in the education system. EdTech has a specific purpose today, yes. All right? My only question to you is EdTech today getting the right kind of technology to the classroom exactly the way the country needs it? That's a very specific question to you. You may have to be a bit bold to answer that question, one. Two is, what kind of differentiation are you wanting to bring into this country with EdTech, with the kind of startups that's coming in, right? So 2 questions to you. You have about 5 minutes, then I'll have to wrap up with the other guys also once.
So answering your first question, that whether EdTech is coming up with a solution which is actually needed in the classroom right now. See, the start that we had in EdTech was not exactly the way we wanted it to have, because it was sort of a quick reaction to a pandemic situation. And there the need was to bring the education back to the students, and that was the only challenge that we were solving as a service provider, right? So we, as an EdTech community, tried to bring the classroom teaching to the students on their own personal devices. So that was the challenge that we are facing. Whenever we talk about technology, providing a solution, first we have to draft that what exactly are we thinking to solve. So first we have to answer about the what, and then how is the answer that the technology is going to provide. So when we are talking about the what's, so using technology, keeping learning at the center. So what exactly are the things that we want to provide to the students? So when we try to explain more about learning, so learning will now move towards personalized learning rather than a generic learning approach. The second one is the experiential learning, like learning through experiences. Now, the third part is the interactive learning. So there should be an interaction. So these are the what's I am just highlighting. And then there should be a collaborative learning, because see, learning in isolation is not going to be that effective as compared to, when the students come to a platform, come to a common stage, and then collaborate and then learn, right? So these are the what's that we are trying to identify. Now comes the how, right? So when we try to answer the how part of how exactly personalized learning, adaptive learning is going to be introduced, is the answer that the technology is trying to provide in the current form of its offering. And when we say how, so that comes out, so one of the major factors of it, which we are also working on, is the assessment part. So when I say assessment, the earlier assessment used to, in the traditional form, it always used to be at the end of the learning. So after learning, you used to do the assessments part. Now it has to be embedded inside the learning. Yeah, that means while learning, you have to come to the assessment part, and through the assessment comes the most important ideas, or you can say the analytics, from which we can actually identify during the learning process itself that what are the gaps, what are the challenges that the student is learning, is having. And through identifying those gaps and challenges and addressing those gaps and challenges is the how the technology is going to have an impact on.
So you very well took us through the how and the what part, right?
Yeah.
But then a bigger thing at a national level is the haves and the have-nots, right? You are from the edtech industry. We all are users to your edtech stuff, right? And most of the panelists sitting here, of course, can afford these kind of technology in their schools. The audience sitting here, most of them can actually have the technologies in their classrooms. What about those people who are at a price point which doesn't allow them to reach out to a edtech and buy these technologies into the classroom? How are you going to reach out to those kids? Why should they be debarred from a good stuff being implemented in the school? So what is the role of us, our kind of companies, and how are you going to actually bridge this gap of the haves and the have-nots?
See, the best part of the technology is that, it can bring solutions to scale. So what used to be a solution with very few players, technology can, enhance that and, bring it to scale. And with scale comes the price compatibility as well. Whenever you go and talk about a scale part, price itself, gets reduced. So as far as the price point is concerned, current, offerings of technology are not that expensive, if you can say, because now the technology is taking care of that scale part as well. And when, as I said, with a scale, the price itself goes down. See, one major factor the technology is going to play in, students' learning cycle is, there are many students who tend to miss out on certain opportunities because of certain geographical, limitations. Technology is going to take care of those with the advent of, 4G and 5G technologies, and, mobile internet is going to be available with almost everyone in the current form. More than 70% of the population is going to be, having these technologies in the coming years or so. So with this, the accessibility to quality education is now going to be more with the students because there are digital platforms coming out with solutions. And, in 2017, there was NETP, which is US, Minister of Education in US, do give their plan of action to incorporate technology in the education part as well. So they kept learning at the center, and there were certain peripherals which were to be included. One is the leadership. So leadership has to actually set the goal, as in what exactly they want to achieve
But that still doesn't answer the question, how do you reach out to the have-nots? Anyway, that's a bigger question for the nation to think about.
Okay.
Let's move on to the session, because I think I've already got a message to wrap the session up. Before I wrap up, let's have a small rapid fire for Shahnaz ma'am. Two things, if you were to implement in technology, what would be the first two things that you would like to do in the next 1 year for your school?
Am I audible? Yeah. See, first and foremost, I do not give so much importance to technology. My number one point is that. I don't give so much importance to technology.
That, and what would be a number 2 point?
Yeah, yes, wait. Because I still think that the human mind is there. people can, teachers, students, and everybody can still work on it and make the school a very happy school, the child to be a very happy child. I will, if I have to implement, I am implementing, if I have to implement technology in my school, I will keep a balance, a total balance between the teacher and technology.
Super,
I will not
super.
allow technology to get over
Super,
a
super.
teacher.
Ahmedji, going with you, rapid fire. 2 things that you would like to implement in the next 1 year in your school.
I would like to implement artificial intelligence because I think that will ease off a lot of burden on the teachers in terms of grading. It'll offer personalized learning for kids. And the second thing that I would like to implement is 3D printing because it'll help kids create models and it'll help them understand scientific and engineering stuff in a much better way.
Mr. Arup, 2 things that you would like to do in the next 1 year for technology in the classrooms.
Yeah, I'll do myself and I'll request other also. I think this will be a wonderful idea to do it. We have neglected a large part of social emotional learning cell. Without cell, today's students will be nowhere another 10 years down the line. And we have completely ignored that. So my whole effort would be to implement the social emotional learning through technology. The second, in our culture, assessment, when I say somebody assessment, they feel it's an examination and test. That is not. That's a completely wrong concept. Assessments are of 3 types. Assessment of learning, assessment for learning, assessment as a learning. As a man or human being, you cannot do it. There's
So
3
assessment is your one take and
Another is a social emotional
super.
learning.
Dr. Datta, coming to you. 2 things that you like to do in the next 1 year to do with technology and your schools.
Pardon?
2 things that you would like to implement in the next 1 year in your schools.
See, we are compelled to bring technology to the students during Corona. We could build up our own networking system and own software. Perhaps it is very difficult. We are the technology team. Now what we need to do and what we are doing, we have got a technology team, technical. My son was supposed to go to USA, could not, due to he is working on that. Now we need to have, ours is a school which is belonging to all
Sir,
class
we
of
simply go to 2 things, 2 points,
All-
sir, because
all-
Chandan is eyeing me for a long time.
all class
2
of,
points, yeah.
all class of people were serving, not the elite class, not being supported by outside or the parental system. So we are creating our own syllabus, own system, and we are training the teachers on that way. We can afford to do it because we accidentally or incidentally, all of us, the management team belonging to technology background.
Superb. So you are
This is one thing. Second thing is this non-compatibility of the older people with technology.
all right.
That
one
needs
is-
to be.
Got that. So one is you're trying to bring new technologies in-house. Second is you're trying to make the non-compatible people compatible with the use of technology. Very, very nice initiative. One small last final closing statement. People who have gone to Detroit Airport, anybody who has gone to Detroit Airport in the last 1.5, 2 months, anybody here? If not, please look up on the YouTube link. At Detroit Airport, the moment you come in, you go in, there's a huge screen that they have built, right? So if my name is Anantha Krishnan, it'll say, "Hi Anantha Krishnan, welcome to Detroit." From there on that screen and the following screens, I'll be seeing only and only my personal information. It'll not show how many flights are flying out of Detroit, which boarding gate. It'll not show anything. It'll just show information pertaining to me. Which gate is my flight? Where do I have to go and board it? What do I have to do next? It's only my personalized information. Same time, if Amit walks in, on the same board, he will see his information. And at the same time, if Shahnaz walks in, she'll see her information on the board. This is called as parallel reality, right? It simply maps your body coordinates, and from there it gives your personalized information. That is the power of technology. Understand, if this technology can be brought into your classroom, what can it do? What kind of wonders it can do for a kid. There's one school in Delhi which, by using a simple ERP, but a dedicated ERP, has been able to find out the psychological requirement of a child who has been reading a particular kind of book across a period of 3 months in the library. A child counselor was called in, and then the counselor had to do a lot of interventions for the child, and the child really needed medical attention. That's the power of technology if used in the right way. So as educators, it's very important for us to adapt to the right kind of technology that is needed in the classroom. So an assessment of what is needed in our school is very important. Your next door school may have the wonderful thing of the world. Taurian may have a very good school. He spoke about horses. How many horses? 16 horses. 15 horses. I have 6 horses in one of my school. Jaan nikal jati hai usme. The Hindi word is jaan nikal jati hai. Right? Ghode maintain karna aasan kaam nahi hai. But that is his requirement. My requirement is very different. So if I copy him and I get 15 more horses, I'm done with it. So what is my requirement? Where do I stand in the market? What's the level of my kids? What's the kind of intervention that my kids require? What is the kind of upskills that my teacher requires? That is very important rather than simply bringing in the people in like Akash, Gautam, who has beautiful technologies. But you have to research upon what you need and what your kids really need. Yeah, with that, I really thank you for this opportunity. It's been wonderful sharing a stage with all of you. Great pleasure. Hope to see you soon in the next panel very shortly. Thank you, audience. You have been a great, great, great audience. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much to all our respected dignitaries. And in order to felicitate them, I would like to request Chandan sir to please come and join us back on the stage. And we'll be starting felicitating with Dr. Shahnaz Ahmed, the chairman and founder principal, Springdale Senior Secondary School, Jorhat, Assam. एक बार जोरदार तालियों के साथ उनका सम्मान किया जाए स्टेज पे. Next, I would request sir to please felicitate Mr. Amitava Datta, the founder of Maria's Day School, Howrah, West Bengal, with a huge round of applause. Next, I would request to please felicitate Mr. Arup Mukhopadhyay, the Director, UNSCCO Group of School, Imphal, Manipur. Next, we would like to felicitate Mr. Amith Bajla, the founder and chairman of Taurian World School, Ranchi, Jharkhand. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Mr. Amith Bajla, the founder and chairman of Taurian World School, Ranchi. And next, I would request sir to please felicitate Mr. Akash Gautam, the academic head, Q&I and Thomson Digital. And of course, how can we forget our Eminent session moderator, Mr. Anantha Krishnan, B, CEO Operations, Kalorex Group, with a huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Please felicitate. Thank you so much, gentlemen and ma'am. So now I request everybody to please come forward. We'll be taking a group photograph.